With the release and growth of any piece of media, it's almost guaranteed that a fandom will develop around it. This is typically a good thing as it allows fans to congregate, share ideas, and discuss the things they love. Unfortunately, as time goes on, it's not uncommon for these spaces to take a turn for the worse, to the point where they develop a bad reputation or become toxic. Hazbin Hotel and Helluva Boss have always been incredibly divisive, and as a result the fandom reflects that. Although the Hazbin fandom is generally positive, there are a number of traits that I think are worth bringing up. I've always believed that if you ignore these things or let them fester, it'll just continue to get worse. In this video I'm going to discuss the issues with the Hazbin fandom. To start things off, there's been a number of incidents occurring at conventions that just paint the fandom in an overall bad light. The first is an incident that was outlined by the pilot voice actor of Angel Dust, Michael Kovac. At Michael's first ever convention appearance, a Valentino cosplayer asked to record a video of Angel confronting Valentino. As soon as their friends started recording, they grabbed him by the collar of his shirt and started degrading him in character. Michael continues in the replies by saying that it made him feel uncomfortable, but he didn't know how to handle it and went along with his day. This highlights an issue where people can't respect the boundaries of the voice actors. It was Michael's first ever appearance, which was obviously quite daunting for him, but the entire experience was ruined because of this awful cosplayer and their lack of self-control. A similar situation happened a couple years later, except the roles were reversed, where instead it was a Valentino cosplayer getting harassed. This was explained in a great video by another YouTuber in the fandom called Iox. Basically, a cosplayer called Octolady was at a convention with a friend and they were dressed as Valentino. They ended up meeting another Angel Dust cosplayer who they hung out with. Throughout the day, they were stalked and shot at with a water gun by another crazy fan. The fans shouted nonsense at them like they should stay away from Angel. This, combined with the fact that the cosplayer was getting sent harassment on TikTok purely for dressing as Val and liking the character, meant that their convention experience was ruined. On that same note, there was a situation where Valentino's voice actor, Joel Perez, had to come out and make multiple posts explaining that him and the character he plays are two different people. Since the release of the show, a lot of terminally online people couldn't separate fact from fiction, so anytime they were criticising Val as a character, they'd tag Joel in their post or directly harass him. So again, these are two examples of fan etiquette being diabolical. Of course, most fans are respectful to the voice actors and cosplayers, but there's a subsection of people that are less so and treat the fans or VAs as if they're the actual characters. It's just really bizarre and leaves a bad taste in your mouth. Another situation you probably saw on TikTok is one where a younger fan asked an inappropriate question to one of the voice actors while they were at a convention panel. Questions like this make the experience uncomfortable for everyone involved, including the voice actors. Allegedly, at Hazbin panels they ask for IDs now, however this incident stands as a reminder of what not to do when at a convention. And lastly, we have the infamous blackface Alistair trio. I won't throw the images on screen since they're pretty awful, but basically a group of Alistair cosplayers wore blackface to a convention. It's just really shitty and once again gives the fandom and conventions a really bad reputation. From these four examples, we can see a pattern of behaviour where fans act horribly at conventions, which just sours the convention experience for everyone involved who are just trying to have a good time. Shipping goes hand in hand with any piece of media. If a show or world has complex characters, it sets the ground for relationships to blossom and for characters to develop. The term shipping refers to the pairing of various characters. In the Hazbin fandom especially, shipping has always been a core part of its identity. This was present way back in the Zophobia era, where Vivziepop herself would ship various characters together, like Angel Dust with Vaggie, Mimsy with Alistair, and Angel with Tycho. Fan pairings have also become canon in the full show, the most notable example being Serpentious and Cherry Bomb. Ship bullying has also been present since the beginning. When people ship characters, it's common for them to take it extremely seriously. Sometimes fans will make it a part of their personality. As a result, when other people criticise these ships or doubt their validity, these fans perceive it as an attack on themselves. This can lead to arguments, drama, and can occasionally lead to threats or harassment. If you've spent any amount of time on sites like Reddit or Twitter, you've likely heard horror stories about people sending death threats or getting harassed for shipping characters. Vivziepop made a tweet about it a couple of years ago, and since then nothing has really changed. It's still a regular occurrence where fans take things a step too far. This applies to when new info about characters come out as well. If details are released, fans rarely react normally. One example being back when Alistair's asexuality was announced. Some fans crashed out over this news and left the fandom or announced how the show was ruined. This continued to when one of the old artists that worked on the show, Fosty, said that Alistair was error ace on a livestream. Fans once again had a very normal reaction and proceeded to harass Fost over the incident. It's genius because Vivzie herself has said on numerous occasions that she doesn't want to reveal details about Alistair so as to not spoil the fun for shippers. To a lot of people this can be interpreted as her being scared of the potential fan backlash. It's a pretty dire situation if the creator of the show can't speak about her own characters because fans would go crazy over it. Personally, I don't consider anyone that acts like this as real fans. fandoms. No one should be scared to talk about characters out of fear of harassment. Of course, not all shippers are like this, it's just this loud vocal minority that spoils it for everyone, which is a real shame considering that shipping is one of the fandom's favourite activities. With the rise of any online community, there's going to be bad actors out to milk as much money as they can from the property. Since the release of Hazbin Hotel, there's been a rise in theft and impersonation. Let me explain. On TikTok, there's various accounts that re-upload and steal content made by people on YouTube. One such example is an account called Joe Rogan Effect with 2,000 followers that just nabs people's videos, including mine. He was streaming once on TikTok, and when I clicked it, it was him playing the entirety of the new Beetlejuice movie. My personal favourite is an account with 10,000 followers called Steven Posting. This isn't the actual Steven Posting. For context, Steven Posting is a friend of mine who makes Hazbin Hotel content, but he's taking a break to focus on real life stuff. He has about 20,000 subscribers on YouTube. This TikTok account isn't owned by him, and it's wearing his identity like a mask, and it just re-uploads all his content. This isn't all, because once it ran out of Steven's videos, it went on to posting content from other creators like me, Iox, and Tactical. Musician Paranoid DJ has been under fire from these AI channels as well. According to a tweet and community post from Paranoid, someone is uploading songs that appear on the releases tab of his channel. The songs in question are made using AI generated artwork and random short bursts of music samples, with the aim of using his name to get easy streaming revenue. Following on from this, I covered the channel Hazbin Hotspot a couple of months ago, and there's been a couple more AI channels that have popped up. The first is Movies ERA. He's basically the reincarnation of NTSG. All of his videos are clickbait crap featuring stolen fan art with no credit given. He'll have a video titled exactly like how an episode would be, for example Season 2 Episode 10. The thumbnail is stolen fan art, and when we click the video it's literally just leaked content from months ago. So not only is he screwing over artists and taking credit for their work, he's also exposing fans to leaks. They'll click on the video thinking it's the actual episode and just get leaks, which basically ruins the feature episode for them. The cherry on top is the AI voice he uses in all of his videos. Further reiterating, that's just an AI profit-driven content farm. When the Hazbin Hotel Season 2 leak happened, Movies ERA ran to YouTube to post the leaks to spoil anyone who was unlucky enough to have the video recommended to them. Another example is Suki Hound. This guy is just as bad, except he's actually tried to rip me off. He's deliberately copied my style, thumbnails and everything. Let me explain. So on his videos tabs, you can clearly see he's one-to-one copied my thumbnails. My thumbnails are made by another YouTuber in the fandom called Iox and are pretty recognisable since I've been doing that style since 2022. Suki Hound has just completely robbed them. For example, his video on the hate situation, the thumbnail is clearly a rip-off of my Why Everyone Hates VivziePop video. He's completely robbed my style for my reviews and news videos. In one video he titles it as if it's a new Hazbin trailer. However, if you click on the video it's just tweets of some random Twitter accounts, there's no trailer at all. To top it all off, the entire video is narrated by an AI generated voice. His shorts tab is the exact same, it's just a knockoff version of the content I make but with the AI generated voiceover. He never credits who he steals from and every title is misleading or clickbait. After the Season 2 leak happened, YouTuber Iox made a video titled "The Hazbin Hotel Season 2 leak situation is insane." A day later, Suki Hound made a very original and thought-provoking video coincidentally titled "Hazbin Hotel Season 2 leak situation is insane." Once again, the video is just a pure copy and paste job that regurgitates the info from somebody else. It's pure laziness and I don't know why more people aren't calling this out. My favourite thing is that on my channel I have a couple tags related to it. Suki has went onto my channel and copied these one-to-one, except swapping Alamao for his username. It's genius as well because I have the word verified in there because I was always verified on YouTube, and if you check my Wikipedia page it mentions that. However, Suki has just nabbed that and not realised it's linked to my channel's lore, therefore exposing himself. What's frustrating with these AI channels is that there's no problem with being inspired by someone or taking ideas and putting their spin on it. However, in these cases these people clearly don't care about the fandom or the community around it. They'll steal from fan artists and take credit. They will even rip off some of the biggest creators in the niche and pray no one notices. A viewer of mine submitted another example. This channel is called BGR Dub. They're a Turkish channel and like with the others on this list, they use an AI generated voice. Once again, most of their videos are just yoinked off other creators. For example, his video on the Season 2 leak situation is word for word my video. I'll show you. So within the past day or so, the largest leak in Hazbin Hotel history has occurred. This includes the spoiling of basically entirety of Season 2 of the show. This video will be completely leak and spoiler free, don't worry, but I'll talk about what happened, a couple theories on how this huge leak occurred, and lastly talk about how fans can stay safe from the leaks. So a similar situation happened back before Season 1 of the show came out, and I made a video about that way back when it happened. But today This continues over to his shorts and episode reviews as well. He'll just steal my video, AI translate it, and then put a poorly made Turkish voice dub over my content. None of it makes sense either, since it's my personal opinions of the episodes. Up next is Next Flying. Just like the other channels I mentioned, this one has just word for word robbed my videos and replaced them with a soulless AI voice. The titles are even the exact same. It's really disheartening to make content and then see it kind of human centipede its way to these various AI channels and get morphed into a mess. And lastly, we have Toon Fanatic. Just like the other channels I covered, this guy again uses AI voices to just repurpose other people's videos. They go a step further, however, in that they create AI songs. In the description of every video he mentions this at the bottom, yet hundreds of thousands of people consume these videos and praise how good the voices are. I'd give people benefit of the doubt and assume a lot of commenters don't realise they're AI. However, if you listen to any of the songs, it's pretty obvious that they're not a skilled impressionist. To make matters worse, they recently uploaded another AI song. This entire video is actually an AI cover of a song that was leaked from Season 2. So basically this guy has went into the Season 2 leaks, taken a song and then put this terrible AI voice over it. This is obviously completely illegal and a huge slap in the face to the voice actors involved. The song isn't meant to be out yet and this guy has basically posted it early and made it worse in every way. It's extremely upsetting and it's equivalent to kicking someone when they're down. The season has already been leaked, but creating AI song covers using stolen footage is the cherry on top. I think it's pretty funny that in the comments people are saying that he should have waited until Season 2 release to post a song. No, he shouldn't be posting these videos at all, it's AI. The voice actors have taken a stance against AI generated content that uses their voice on numerous occasions. The people that watch these videos and support this behaviour clearly don't care about the shows or the people behind it. I seriously don't understand why people don't just listen to fan-made songs or dubs instead. Those creators actually deserve support and recognition, not this army of AI channels that type stuff into a software and reap the rewards. As time goes on, the number of these channels just seems to grow and unfortunately I don't think there's any chance they'll slow down. The fandom overall just has a really weird stance surrounding AI and I really hope people listen and realise it's not ethical to support these practices. Several months ago, I was hanging out in my Discord server and one viewer sent a video about Hazbin Hotel from the Italian Amazon Prime account. I thought I'd give it a watch since it was from the official account, but as I watched, I felt a feeling of déjà vu, as if I'd watched the video before, which was really unsettling. Well, after checking my video catalogue, I realised that the video was a copy of one I made a year ago. So before we start, let's get a bit of backstory. On April 23rd, 2023, I made a video called The History of Hazbin Hotel. It was a retrospective video where I went through the entire history of the series from 2012 to 2023. It did well and got over 100,000 views. Fast forward to February 2024 and the official Italian Amazon Prime account posts a video called How the Internet Made Hazbin Hotel Possible featuring Poldo. Basically they've paid this creator to make a video on the series as advertising for their channel. I checked the dude's channel and he just seems like an Italian Sunny V2 or internet anarchist. As I'll continue to discuss, they've commissioned or paid this guy a sponsorship to do a video on the show. And instead of making something original, he just went and did a James Somerton to my video, thinking no one would notice since my video was in English. Before I start, since the video is in Italian, I reached out to an Italian viewer called Avi and they've translated the main segments for me. I'll then have my friend JMF voice these parts so it'll make it a bit easier to compare and contrast the two videos. The first minute and a half of the video is filler nonsense. However, immediately the guy says that he's never actually watched an episode of the series. Why Amazon decided to sponsor someone who's never watched the show is complete stupidity. They should have hired someone in the fandom to make the video instead of someone who knows nothing about the subject matter. So the main premise of the video is lifted straight from mine. He chronologically goes through the years, however just makes it worse in every aspect with ADHD editing. He switches things around and makes some changes, but it's pretty clear that he's nabbing from me. At 150, he mentions the Angels and Demons arc of Xenophobia, using all of the same screenshots and terminology that I did.
It was about this demon crew protagonist of a hypothetical arc called Angels and Demons.
Were initially intended for a feature arc in Xenophobia, which is going to be called Angels and Demons back in 2013. Viv commonly called these characters the Demon Crew or the Demon Misfits. 1 minute in, he verbatim copies what I said.
In fact, through her profile, Tumblr, DeviantArt, Patreon and YouTube pages, we can keep track of the evolution of the characters.
These new characters, Vivzy started to draw more art and updates, which she typically posted on her Tumblr, DeviantArt, Patreon and YouTube pages. At 240, he mentions the demon headcanon voices just like I do.
Flash forward to April 29th, 2015, in which where Vivian throws the fishing bait into the waters of YouTube, with the video Demon Headcanon Voices, where in the description it could be read that the VA auditions were open for a still nameless possible future series.
April 29th, 2015, on her YouTube channel, she published a video called Demon Headcanon Voices. This 3-minute video features still images of the various demons, along with music to represent what each character should sound like. As the description states, Viv opened auditions for the characters with the aim of creating a series around them. In my video, I point out the first time Viv ever mentioned the name of the show and the unveiling of the logo. Of course, Poldo just nabbed that and put it in his video.
In May 2015, the project had already gotten the name Hazbin Hotel, and through a tweet we can experience the birth of its logo. As you can see, it is different than what we will end up getting used in the pilot and the finished project.
Days later, on May 1st, 2015, Viv made her first ever mention of Hazbin Hotel. In this tweet, Viv talks about making a key for the Hazbin Hotel logo. Prior to this tweet, Viv had never referred to the show as Hazbin Hotel, so this would have been the first official unveiling of the name. 21 days later, Viv revealed an early concept for the Hazbin Hotel logo. She ended up using the aforementioned key design and had the base layout finished. Later that day, she posted the final version of the logo. She made a couple alterations to the previous iteration, and this design is the one she'd use for the rest of the project. In my original video, I talk about storyboard animatics that Viv would post and tweet where she said the show isn't for kids. The image is ripped directly from my video. We can tell this because if we check that tweet, Vivzy isn't checkmarked, while in the image that me and him used, she is. It's clear he's just taken my image and cropped my profile picture out.
They'll follow storyboards, speed draws, sneak peeks, infos about the story, and about the lore for the entirety of 2015. Posts such as one that said the series won't be adapted for kids could be also found.
A couple months later, in September, Viv posted an early storyboard animatic for Hazbin Hotel. She also mentions in the comments the show won't be for kids. As mentioned previously, Viv would continue to post speed draws featuring art of the characters from the show. This culminated in December 2015 when Viv discussed the show a little more in depth during her 200,000 subscriber special. Viv said the show would be a YouTube exclusive series about a ragtag group of demons who are attempting to redeem their terrible actions in life with hopes of having a more meaningful existence.
And the producer began teasing the fans, promising them that the series will be an exclusive in their YouTube channel, saying the series will be about a group of demons that tried redeeming themselves from their horrible actions, hoping to get a new, better existence life. In fact, they were evaluating doing a Kickstarter or even finding a studio that will finance the project, and I think they made it.
Viv said that the team wanted to make a full season of the show and was exploring the possibilities of either a Kickstarter or funding from a studio. She also discussed the creation of her other side project, Helluva Boss.
It's 2020 at this point in the history. All fans of the author of Hazbin Hotel know well that she started a side project, which starts with a different demand set in the same universe.
1 month later, even more crazy news was announced. Hazbin Hotel was officially picked up by A24 for a full series. This once again caused the fandom to explode in popularity, with everyone excited to see what's in store for the show.
In the meantime, however, a very important piece of news would come out, namely that Hazbin Hotel had been noticed by the independent production company A24. As we know, they will be able to bring the series to Prime Video. From here on, guys, we know the story. The fandom will explode in terms of popularity, and everyone was excited to find out what was boiling in the pot.
He finishes off the video talking about how important the fandom was to the show. So after going through the video, it's apparent that he's just watched my video, repackaged it, and made it worse in every way. My video was informative, well researched, and was the first time someone has made a retrospective of the show's history on YouTube. I think the biggest slap in the face was at the end where he mentioned how important the fandom is to the show. However, he goes ahead and robs the video from one of the largest creators in the fandom. Overall, I'm not angry, but just let down. I think if Amazon Prime had went ahead and commissioned an actual creator in the fandom like Iox, Steven Posting, or even me, the video would have been way better. Instead, they've went to this random dude who clearly doesn't give a shit about the shows and just masqueraded someone else's work as his own to get the bag. I think both are clearly at fault. Amazon Prime should have sponsored an actual creator in the fandom to make the video and then just dubbed the video to Italian. And the Poldo guy for being a lazy thief and not crediting the video he clearly plagiarized. Content farming is a phenomenon where channels use existing properties, combine them together, and create usually lewd content. These videos are almost always comic dubs, which is when you take someone else's comic and voice over it. Back in the early days of the fandom, the biggest offender was a channel called Hazbin Fanworks. They would use clickbait, sexualized thumbnails, and misleading titles to entice viewers to click on their videos, only for it to be them reading someone else's comic for 20 minutes. Thankfully, this channel had an internal drama which led to half its team leaving. As a result, the content fell off and the channel has been bleeding viewers ever since. Cougar McDowell is another example of this. Every single video is a comic dub with a sexualized title. There'll be characters from various different series, and a lot of them appeal directly to kids. So you'll have a video featuring lewd characters in bikinis, characters in sexually suggestive situations, or characters in suggestive poses. I'll bring my friend Tactical on to give his thoughts on Cougar and to narrate narrate the following segment.
Cougar McDouble, an individual with an extremely large following. His YouTube channel having a subscriber count of over 3.24 million subscribers at the time of writing this script. He is a comic dub channel, which on its own isn't a bad thing, but it's the practices that Cougar does on his channel that I have a problem with. Now I'm going to ask you a question, and I want you to think about what audiences these IPs may attract. Now, what audiences are most interested in Five Nights at Freddy's, Poppy Playtime, Smiling Critters, Friday Night Funkin', Murder Drones, Helluva Boss, and Hazbin Hotel? Helluva and Hazbin can be a bit of a stretch, to be fair, but I am confident that you would have said children for all of those popular pieces of media. If so, then good, we're on the same page. So why is it that Cougar feels the need to have hypersexual thumbnails on his channel? Cougar knows that the vast majority of his audience are children. I mean, just look at the comment sections. Uzi is my twin because I wear the same thing. Crying laughing emoji, crying laughing emoji. Pomni really shouldn't have opened the door. Now she's dealing with the two of them. Gangle, when she says hold it, she shone like purple from Princess Hannah. That just doesn't even make sense. So judging by these comments on his videos, even if he were to deny that his fan base are children, all you'd have to do is look at his community interacting with the content in any way, and you'd be able to see that his audience is primarily children. Of course, when Hazbin Hotel and Helluva Boss was most popular, he made a lot of content on that. And even though, to be fair, even though Hazbin Hotel on Amazon Prime is for ages 16 and up, I still don't think it's okay to show these thumbnails to everyone on YouTube. I mean, just 8 days ago, he made a video including the characters Emberlyn and Luna from Helluva, and the thumbnail showed them in a very sexually explicit situation. The person that draws a lot of Cougar's thumbnails is Jelzy Art on Twitter. When you go on their Twitter page, you'll see in their bio that it says minors do not interact. This just goes to show that even she knows that the art that she draws shouldn't be viewed by underage audiences. However, Cougar still doesn't do anything to hide the art that is made by this person from children. I know for a fact that Cougar has no plans to change the way he makes his content anytime soon, because at the end of the day, it gets views. And to him, the views outweigh all other factors. However, he's welcome to prove me wrong by just refraining from putting sexual thumbnails like this to his young fanbase. It would be naive to deny that the voices behind these shows weren't the people who kept the community going for as long as it did. Sure, the animation was very good, but the voices gave the shows their personality. Most people know about the voices of the characters and the Honeycast, which has been airing since 2018. Jesus Christ. I was so young when that shit came out. Anyways, the Honeycast let voice actors like Michael Kovac, Edward Bosco, Joshua Tomar, etc. take voice requests from the chat in their character voices. A lot of these streams got over 1 million views and allowed the audiences to connect more to the voice actors and the characters. So even though all of this happened and people love the voice actors of both shows, I find it really weird when I see videos like this, and this, and this, who take the voices of real-life people without their consent, put them through an AI program, and then use it to make these shitty videos that sound 80% like the real thing. This is obviously done to avoid the costs of hiring a voice actor and having to pay them something more than breadcrumbs, which is a brainless way of thinking, because aspiring voice actors are searching high and low to find any form of work. If you look up any answering voice acting questions video on YouTube, I guarantee you that one question that you'll hear in every single video is, where do I find work? Do you think smaller voice actors these days are picky about the jobs that they get because of the pay? Of course they're not. A large chunk of the voice actors in the community apply for projects every day just to see if they can get a role that doesn't pay a penny. This is obviously done so the voice actor can build up a voice reel/portfolio big enough to have a chance to get paid work. So channels like these are actually just taking away the opportunity for aspiring voice actors to get work, only twisting the knife in a really bad issue. Not to mention, once again, various highly respected voice actors have vocalized their hatred for AI and have explicitly stated that they do not consent to people using their voices for AI replication. Erica Linebeck, the voice actor for Luna, was literally harassed off of Twitter after she voiced her concerns about the issue. I don't really know why people were harassing her in the first place. If people were harassing her for criticizing a smaller creator, that's just ignorant. It doesn't matter if you're a smaller creator. If you're harming the mouths that feed you by replicating their voices for your own gain, I feel like no matter your size, you should be criticized for that. There was also an argument that I heard years ago while listening to a podcast that still sticks to me to this day. If you post something on the internet, you are opening yourself up to people criticising you. And people are allowed to do so. Now I know that should mean that people are also able to criticise Erica for her thoughts on everything. And you'd be correct. However, people were sending Erica death threats, which is a massively substandard way to respond. A small group of the fandom causing a voice actor to take a step back from Twitter and Instagram is really bad, and can be avoided. Hopefully it doesn't happen again in the future. Earlier in the video, Ailamau mentioned a situation with the voice actors of Alistair. Amir Talai and Edward Bosco had vocalised their disdain for the use of AI voices in any way, shape or form. And now the channel Hazbin Hotspot has been using AI programs to replicate Amir and Edward's voices. When people found out about this and rightfully called out Hazbin Hotspot for it, for some reason his response to the criticism was just to have a full-on crash out on Twitter, as well as YouTube. After a while, the AI voices were changed to sound less like them, but they were still obviously supposed to be rip-offs of the original voices. Since then, Hazbin Hotspot has of course lost most of their following and community now. Recently, they have resorted to posting politically driven stuff on their community tab, as well as posting really dodgy tweets on their Twitter. They have made an announcement video saying that their Alistair and Vox podcast series is making a return, and they mention how they don't want to get into any more trouble or controversy. However, they have continued to use AI voices, and obviously without the original voice actor's permission. They have also made extremely horrible and racist tweets like this one, not to mention this tweet where it looks like someone he knows has been hacked and he says a racial slur. This is actually just deplorable behaviour. After seeing this, I strongly believe that this person isn't a good role model for any audience, let alone a young one. And I don't think that they should be making content if they're going to be political and racist on their social media. I feel bad for Edward and Amir because if I were them, I wouldn't want my name attached to this in any way, shape or form either.
To finish off the video, I'm going to talk about a general topic being fandom toxicity. The Hazbin fandom has cultivated the reputation that it can't take criticism and that it's toxic. There's been a bunch of comparisons to other shows, with people saying that the Hazbin fandom is the worst. Although I completely disagree with this sentiment, there is a toxicity issue present. It's extremely bad over on Discord and Twitter. I've generally had positive interactions with a lot of community members, but it's on these two sites that people completely let the fandom down and are just awful. If you're a YouTuber who creates any sort of content on the shows, you'll be put on blast on Twitter to thousands of people. It's 10 times worse if you criticize the show or give your personal thoughts. People will make tweets to take what you say out of context and then say to mass report or block you. It's happened to me and many other YouTubers on countless occasions. It's bizarre because you can dedicate years of your life to something, but if you give some positive criticism, people will immediately throw you under the bus. It's extremely bad because if you're a new YouTuber trying to present new ideas and it's your first time receiving this targeted harassment, it can really take a toll on you. The most recent example was when a YouTuber called Limus made a video titled How Not to Write a Victim of Abuse. The video is basically Limus talking about Angel Dust and especially episode 4 of the show and how, as an SA survivor, they don't think Angel Dust is a well-written character. Fans had a normal reaction to this and left a comment giving their thoughts on how they disagree. No, just kidding, they went straight to Twitter, put the video on blast and started bullying the creator. It's just terrible. I seriously don't understand why people can't discuss things in a normal manner. If you disagree with someone, that's fine, leave a constructive comment. Don't grab your pitchforks and run to Twitter to rile up a hate mob, it's really fucked up. If you want to watch some really good critical videos of the show, here's some recommendations. Iox's video titled The Slow Decline of Helluva Boss. In this video, Iox gives his thoughts on the show's quality and how in his opinion the writing has taken a hit as time has went on. It even has a cameo from me where I give my thoughts. Tactic Owl's video titled What Happened to Helluva Boss's Villains. In this video, Tactic discusses how a lot of the villains have lost their charm. This video is just awesome and it enlightened me to a lot of things I didn't realise until I checked it out. Definitely give it a watch. And lastly, Flazefire's Hazbin Hotel, The Good, The Bad, The Fandom. This video is a 2-part review of the show and the fandom, but with a ton of charm and funny jokes throughout. If you want a video that tackles some of the show's issues, but in a lighthearted way, it's great fun. Or you can watch Paracynical's reaction to it.
Oh yeah, Ailamau is here, the Lawmaster. He'll be able to correct anything I say that's wrong.
It's all the bad
I can't defend that one, it's over.
things you did in life.
Bipsy shells, we lost!
So as you can see, there's a bunch of issues with the fandom that are worth pointing out. As I mentioned at the beginning, it's important to tackle these problems because if you just ignore them, then things will only get worse. I'm not convinced that everything I talked about can or will be resolved, but it's at least worth talking about them. If you've encountered anything I've discussed in this video or have any thoughts, I'd love you to leave them in the comment section down below. Special thanks to JMF and Tactic Owl for their voice cameos in this video. Thanks for watching.